Are you curious how I was able to make a little over $340 in just 20 minutes of shopping at one of my favorite places on earth, Value Village? If you are curious, well, then you have landed in the right little corner of the internet. My name is Julie and I am a vintage reseller. I do have an antique booth in a brick and mortar store. However, if you sell online or if you are considering starting a vintage reselling business either online or in a store, I think that the information that I will provide for you here on this video and on my channel in general will be beneficial to you in all of your vintage reselling endeavors. So stick around and I will show you how I made this much money in such a short amount of time, just having fun thrifting, one of my favorite activities. Value Village is actually offering right now 20% off coupons every time you make a donation. So since I'm constantly trying to declutter my house and just donate things that I don't need or we don't use anymore, I am just slowly but surely bringing a couple boxes at a time to Value Village. I get my coupon and then I can go inside and shop. So when I tell you the prices that I spent, keep in mind, please, that everything was actually 20% off of that price. After the 20% off of everything that I bought in this haul, I spent $43.60. When I add up the prices that I expect to be able to sell each item for, I got $384. So when you subtract $43.60 from $384, that's where I got that number. $340.40 is what I expect for my profit to be on this haul in just 20 minutes of shopping at Value Village. So that's where the numbers came from. Now, obviously, these items are not going to immediately sell in my antique booth, but over the years, I have definitely learned that when I have new stuff, it pretty much flies off the shelf because customers just seem excited to see new stuff in a booth. So without further ado, I do have some notes that I will have to kind of look down and refer to. But here's the first item. It is just a Corningware coffee cup. The pattern is called Hometown. Now, I do generally sell these for $6 a piece, and it was $1.49. Again, keep in mind that that doesn't include my 20% off coupon. So I've often thought that most of the time when people come in and buy these from me, that they are looking to replace one in a set that has broken. But I've often thought how cute it would be, since they are all the same size. How awesome would it be to have a huge collection of these coffee cups in all different patterns, and how much fun would it be to collect that? So I wanted to show you a picture of what I meant by that, and there's not a lot of pictures that show up online. So here's what I was able to find for a picture. A couple of different patterns in the collection, but when I searched for Fire-King coffee cup collection of different patterns, a lot more images came up, and I've seen a lot of that on Pinterest and things like that, and how cute those collections are. If you can find those coffee cups, you have really found something special. They are collectible and pretty valuable. Again, I will put $6 on this Hometown coffee cup, and I will still keep buying these, even if I just find one in assorted patterns, because there's just some really cute patterns in vintage Corningware. Next, we're going to do a deep dive into the vintage Fire-King or anchor hawking that I was able to find at Value Village, where they clearly did not know what they had. I've noticed that thrift stores like Goodwill and Value Village, they know when they have Pyrex and they don't even put it on the shelves. Goodwill, I know, saves Pyrex and pulls it and puts it in their online auctions, and they make a killing on it, similar to what people who sell on Etsy or eBay would make on Pyrex. But apparently the stocking employee at this Value Village did not recognize vintage Fire-King, which I still really like and our customers really like, and is also gaining in popularity, whereas we're kind of experiencing a little bit of a slowdown in vintage Pyrex. And a couple of the antique dealers I work with have also noticed that. This is, I didn't take the sticker off yet, but it was $8 for a set of 3 of these, and mine is 20%. So this is the grease jar in the set. And then there's a sugar shaker and a flour shaker. And originally this set would have had 2 more pieces, the salt and pepper. I didn't get that lucky. But when I looked these up, these are selling online for very high prices. Well, at least they're listed for very high prices on Etsy and eBay. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the wrong business and I should be selling online and not in the antique booth. But if you're curious why I'm not selling online, I actually did a whole video on that topic, and I will put that video in the end card. So make sure you watch that after you finish watching this one. Basically what I decided was, since the whole set was $8, that these were $2 a piece for a total of 4. These should sell for $20 each. And since I don't have this complete set of the 5 pieces, I'm going to sell all of these individually because someone might have a set where they're looking to replace a piece that is broken. Now, these are 1940s Art Deco anchor hocking, very collectible kitchenware pieces. So the grease jar, I'm going to put $36 on that. I was super excited to get these and super excited when I saw them on the shelf. All right, next up we have more Fire-King, and look at these beautiful bowls. These are 1950s or 60s bowls in the pattern apples and cherries. They are milk glass mixing bowls. Now, I got these 2 mixing bowls for $12. So I basically paid $6 a piece for them. They are also selling for really high prices online. My larger one has a little bit of a problem in the pattern. It's got some cracks in the color on the larger one. So I will put as is on the price tag of the larger one and explain on the back of the price tag what's wrong with it. But the smaller one is perfect. It has no damage. So that's kind of strange. I mean, clearly these 2 bowls came out of the same house. I wonder what happened to the big one that didn't happen to the smaller one. Regardless, I believe that they will both sell for $32. So I'll put $32 on this one, and I will also put $32 even though this one is larger, because it does have the problem with the pattern. If I notice that the bowls are just not selling for what I expect them to sell for, I will mark them down. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I generally don't mark things down unless they have been sitting on the shelf for a very long time, like maybe a year, and then I will get out my red pen and mark things down. So I was super excited to find this beautiful pattern in the mixing bowls. My favorite one of these patterns is the tulip pattern, and I have only seen it once out in the thrift stores, and it was like $100 for the set at a Value Village. So that Value Village definitely knew what they had. This Value Village did not. These are, the brand is Libbey, and the pattern is called Crystar Lexington, I guess. I've also seen it called Royal Norfolk Blue Floral, so I'm not really sure. I know that it's Libbey, and I think that it's Crystar Lexington. Now, these are kind of pricey. Value Village can be pricey. So that's why I'm really happy to get those 20% off coupons. So this was $2.49 for, and I got 3 of them. They are really nice vintage condition, basically perfect condition. And so I do expect these to sell for $12 a piece. Really pretty, and was also really happy to see those on the shelves. These are popular and they sell really well. This one should sell pretty well, especially given I'm going to put it in the booth in the fall. I just love the way the font looks on the writing on this one. It has the recipe on it, and I just really like the way the pumpkin looks too. It has an older stamp on the back that says made in China. So this is an older vintage piece, I would assume. It was just $4, and I do expect that this one will sell for $22. It looks like it's never been used. It has no wear on the design and on the writing, and I just think it's adorable. There was another one, sorry about all the clanging noise, that was $6. Now this one is quite different. On the back is where the recipe is, and it's also signed. So this is a signed studio pottery piece. I think this is going to sell well. It is apple season for us in North Georgia, and people come from all around to our little tourist town, which is where my antique booth is in Ellijay, Georgia. People come from all over to celebrate apple season and go to our humongous apple festival that we have. So I really need to get up there and get this in the booth as soon as possible. I'm going to do that this weekend and get this in the booth so that it will sell. I think the larger one will sell for $26. This actually came from a garage sale that my husband and I just wandered into, and it was only $2. It's not any type of special pressing or anything like that. I think that this will sell for $14. This is a really popular album by Simon and Garfunkel. These are Pfaltzgraff. I did not know that when I saw them on the shelf. I just knew that I liked them, so I picked them up, and they have the Pfaltzgraff stamp on the bottom. I like the name of this pattern a lot. It's called Key Largo. I got 6 of them. They had 2 at $1.50 a piece, and then they had a set of 4 for $4. So basically I got 4 of them for $1 a piece, and 2 of them were $1.50 a piece. These should sell for $12 a piece. They are just lovely, and I am slowly but surely noticing Pfaltzgraff picking up in popularity again after it being pretty slow for me for a while. I just love it. I think it's really high quality stoneware. A lot of it's made in the US. Apparently, these were made in Mexico. Let me see, does it say that? I can't really read what's on the bottom. I think, yes, it does say Mexico. That's what that bottom word is. It's really kind of blurry. But anyway, it's just really high quality, and I'm glad to see that more people are recognizing that and buying it from us in the antique store. And finally, more Fire-King. These are a lovely set of 3 nesting bowls, mixing bowls. The pattern is called White Swirl, and it is also milk glass. Now, these are selling really high online, but the truth is that white without a pattern on it is not really popular where we live. I know it must be popular in other areas of the country, but vintage white milk glass is not super popular. So I paid $7.49 for this set of 3. It was a great deal. Again, Value Village did not know that what they had was something special, I don't think. And I will put $68 on this set, even though I'm definitely seeing it priced higher online. I have to be realistic about what my customer is willing to spend in our particular store. So all in all, this was an excellent haul. Like I said, I was super excited about the Fire-King and also the Pfaltzgraff. Oh, one last thing. I forgot to show you this. I got a grab bag of 3 things for $2.79, and I bought it for this piece of pottery right here. I had a huge collection of this pottery, and I have been slowly but surely selling it over about the past, I think I've had it for 3 or 4 years, and I probably had 14 pieces, and I only have 2 pieces left. So it's been selling. This piece right here should sell for $16. I'll have to look and see how I've got the other ones priced in my booth and then price it. The other thing that's in here that looks interesting to me is a marble candle holder. with a velvet bottom on it. So not sure what that is, but I will look it up and price it accordingly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you found value in the information that I was able to provide. Whether you are a vintage reseller or you are considering becoming one, or if you just like to go thrifting and procure items for your own personal collections, I appreciate you joining me today, and as always, I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.